Lord of the Rings is back in stores this week with the new Middle-earth battle game releases, range measures, the armies of the Middle-earth battle game, and of course the actual rules manual itself. And who can forget the ginormous Battle of Pelennor Fields. All of these releases are available at your favorite local game store, or of course the e-online retailer miniature market, where you can always get G-Dub at a discount, of course. Now, this box here, I mean, it's a great one to get at a discount. It's $150 retail, but of course, there's a lot more value inside of this. I think at last count, it was $334. Now, G-Dub did adjust some prices. They put out some, I think like 18 or 20 new bundles and just reprints of boxes from the early 2000s game for this release. So it looks like they're kind of going hard in the paint when it comes to that. Now, new release wise, you got the range measures, which is, you know, all of the classic weaponry from the movies. Here you can see a little bit better. I think the staff is actually two parts. So this set here is $35. And then you've got the Armies book, which is separate from this box set. You actually get the rules manual inside of the box set, which is just even more value right there. Now, actually, when you add that in, that is $400 of value. I forgot to add that in. I don't know how I forgot, but now you're talking $400 for this $150 retail box right here. Now, the two rule books themselves are, let's see, so you've got the dice. Oh, and there's dice too. I totally forgot about that. Oh, so many things out there right now. $60 for the Army book and $60 for the rule book. So obviously, huge values to be had with the Pelennor Fields starter box. First up are the dice sets. There's three of them. They're $12.50 each. They're 14 mil dice with a little bit of pearlescent shimmer to them. This, of course, is the Mordor one with the unblinking Eye of Mordor, the Fellowship kind of one ring looking thing right here, and then the Riders of Rohan or Rohan dice, all with a little bit of metallic shine to them. They feel pretty good in my hand. They're a little bit lighter than I'd like, but $12.50 for 8 dice. Oof, well, if you like, if you're really into Lord of the Rings, I feel like this is the way to go. But you're definitely paying for a little bit extra here, I feel like. There's also a Lord of the Rings measure set that we talked about that's going to come with some theme right here. Now, I don't know the specific measurements because we're not really going to dive deep into the game. I haven't even thought of Lord of the Rings since about 10 years ago when I played War of the Ring, and I'm sure it's a lot different nowadays. But, you know, there's some themes here, and I'm sure they pertain to kind of like some in-game stuff right there. Now, there's some sort of priority token here, which looks like one side is the eye, and one side is the Tree of Gondor, and, well, yeah, pretty much everything from the movie right there. Now, so it's one sprue. You got to cut it off to use it, and it looks like it's a little bit of that chunkier kind of plastic from China. So be careful. Be very careful when you're using this stuff. And there you can see on the back, it's got the actual movement in inches, it appears. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, there's no document in here, just one sprue. One sprue to rule them all and measure your models if you don't have a tape measure. Now, the Armies book is going to be a separate purchase if you pick up Pelennor Field, so I figured we'd start there. This is a massive tome. It's almost 250 pages, you can see right there. It's got a ton of data sheets in here, as well as scenarios. There's army lists, all sorts of play, narrative lists, scenarios, full allies matrix. So a lot of things that we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen since War of the Ring and, you know, the Fellowship games before that. So I don't know if anything has come out similar to this since, but what I don't like in here, and I'll just tell you right off I think it's a great, very well laid out book. The graphics presentation is very good, very crisp. I mean, it feels like a good quality book. The binding's well. I've been kind of flipping through it back and forth. I like the full color in leaf and everything here. But rules wise, they have the points printed in here, so I feel like there won't be any future proofing. And we've already seen, you know, we know from Games Workshop they like to update things, and that becomes an issue when, you know, they're trying to get this new game off the ground, and so it could be an issue, but we don't know, right? So, you know, we might as well might as well play the game and find out for ourselves, I suppose, as far as that goes. So lots and lots of different, you got forces of good, forces of evil in here, and then all of the scenarios and such are in the back. Then you got the allies matrix, which was on 236. So here's the allies. Doesn't that look familiar? And then you've got some other stuff. Well, I guess that was pretty much it. So nothing else really of note that I noticed here. There was some sample army lists. There's scenarios. Shoot, where are the army lists? I can't remember exactly where those are. But they are in here somewhere. Either way, well, it starts off with the fellowship right there. So very, very cool stuff, and it's a nice fluffy read as well if you want to read up on each character and maybe some stuff you didn't know because they didn't have that much time in the movie, or you didn't read any of the books. Well, then this is definitely something fun and a neat little bonus for you right there. The rules manual that's going to come with the Battle of Pelennor Fields, or it can be purchased separately for $60. If you have your fill of models from years and years and years ago, well, you only have to buy, I guess, the two books there, and they actually have a bundle on GW's site. Of course, you can always pick it up at your favorite retailer as well, because bundles, one-click bundles don't normally save you anything here. Now, this book is a little bit smaller than the Army's book. It's 208 pages. And I noticed the binding is a little weak. You can kind of see here where I kind of push it in. I hope that doesn't become a problem for people's stuff, but it definitely does not feel very strong. And I was trying to look at it to see if it just maybe was some glue or something that popped out, but I'm not. You can see where it's dimpled right there, almost like it's paper. This is the one that did come in the Army box. So, but other than that, again, it's laid out very well. The binding here seems okay. I didn't hear anything creak or pop or anything like that as I went through it, but there was some sections that definitely had some divots to it. Great overleaf and everything like that. And then you got the contents in here. Now, this is going to be all your rules. It's going to have your turn sequences, rules for monsters, weapons, magic, your advanced rules, siege engines, narrative play, match play, which we're going to kind of go over real quick, or at least I'm going to show you. As, like I said, I don't really have a cat in this fight as far as, playing this game, because I haven't touched this stuff in so many years. And we can only do so much here. But I did want to show you these releases, because it's the kind of stuff that you're going to need to reboot your hobby. Now, what I do like about this, as opposed to some of the other rule sets out there, is they have specific examples. And, they in here, and it seems very cut and dry. Just cursory look, just kind of popping in, looking at things. It looks pretty easy, I guess, to understand. Now, I haven't read into it, so I can't really say for sure. However, as far as that goes, I feel like it's not that bad to pick up. Lots of reference charts and things in here, and then you get to the back. Let's see, sieges. Here's the match play section. So here's your match play. It goes over sizes, points. There's a rule of 1. You've got siege engines, specific things, army bonuses. You can have allies, apparently. There's the ally matrix. And armies. Looks like you get 12 scenarios to play. And then it goes into the scenario section right there, and so on and so forth, in a nice little gallery of the painted miniatures to date right there, along with some of the newer stuff. They came out with the Hobbit movies and example armies from the various staff at Games Workshop. So, and then of course what's next, and an index, which is really nice to see, because sometimes it's just hard to find things, let's be honest. All right, so there's the rule book. Let's jump into the battle itself. If you're looking for a deal on some new Lord of the Rings, well, jumpstart into playing the new Middle-earth strategy battle game, well, this is definitely the place to start, with a nice selection of forces of good and a nice selection of forces of evil, in order to recreate the fateful Battle of Pelennor Fields, where Theoden takes on the big bad Nazgul himself, the Witch King. And we all know how that goes if you've seen the movie right there. So when you open it up, it's going to look a little bit more fuller, because I took the rule book out of here. But remember, a rule book comes in here, $60 value right there as far as that goes. Now, the components, yeah, I mean, some of this plastic is a little bit dated, and we've never seen it before. Here, let me move this out of here. And we've never really seen this stuff before here on the videos because it's so old. I didn't even think about doing videos that long ago. We're talking 15 years in some cases for some of this stuff, right? So, you know, at the onset, this was a great boon from Games Workshop because they sold so many units of this stuff. But now we look at it today, it's not dated, but it's not exactly the freshest thing ever that we've seen. Now, those are the Army of the Dead, or Warriors of the Dead. We've got some Riders of Rohan, and of course we'll break it down for you here in a second. Here's some of the orcs. I mean, to get your forces up and running, this is easy. Like, it's a couple of pieces, push them, you know, push them or glue them together really fast, and you're out the gate, you're swinging, you're doing things. Here's some of the ponies for the riders themselves, and then you've got the new Theoden. Ooh, new. Because currently we only have a Theoden from the Helm's Deep box. This is a new plastic Theoden, which I guess they could re-release as a clan pack at some point. He's charging. He's kind of like charging. I don't have an illustration to show you. I don't think they put one on the... Oh, well, here's the assembly instructions. Let's see if he's on that. He is on that. That's cool. So here's the assembly instructions. So there's eventually what it looks like. So he's kind of charging into battle, or he's standing there on foot. Very cool. And this is a whole insert inside of it that's going to show you how to put all the stuff together, like the Nazgul and the cave troll and all that stuff. So very, very cool looking miniature here. The majority of the stuff's going to come on slaughter bases. Here is the Nazgul, the Witch King himself, and the rest of the Witch King. So it comes with a pre-textured base right there. And there's a flying stem around here somewhere, one of the large tall ones that actually sockets in. I think it sockets in. I'm pretty sure it sockets in. Let's see. Oh, and here's the cave troll, or the Mordor troll, Isengard troll, the one with a little bit more armor that didn't come in the first Fellowship box. And you also get some dice, some markers for things. Some of it has a German language, so maybe they're also putting this out in German, or maybe they just save some money and translate it into English and Germany. And there's a quick start set of rules here we'll take a quick look at as well. Before we get to that, the assembly instructions are pretty straightforward. As you can see, it's on the insert to protect all the materials from the sprue damage, like the book and such. So there you go. You can see that's pretty easy to get along with. Quick reference chart on the back here for gameplay summary on the little scenario book. And then it gets into scenarios and things. And there's a couple of notes in here on balance. Of course, you know, Theoden going up against the Witch King. You know, maybe that wasn't meant to really end well. So they got the scenarios, and there he is. Theoden's last stand, Battle of Pelennor Fields, and some of the different profiles and such with no points. It's just to, you know, battle the box against each other there. So that is pretty much it for for the new releases for the Lord of the Rings, Battle of Pelennor Fields, the measuring sticks, the dice, and of course the 2 rules books right there. So if you've been itching to get your Middle Earth battles on, now is, well, there can't be a better time, because it looks like Games Workshop is throwing considerable support behind putting out a whole lot of these new games that we saw back in the early 2000s. So it's really cool to see them again, from Titanicus to Necromunda. Who knows what the future holds? There seems to be something out there pretty much for everybody when it comes to the Warhammer hobby as a whole. So that's it for this one. If you like these type of unboxing and comparison videos, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.